The end of an era. I was born at a time when life seemed simple, though I would later understand that simplicity did not mean life was easy. We had no running water and no electricity. There were maybe 3 telephones in the community that I remember, one in the north end at Sagitawak, one in the central area around Wapak or Hudson Bay, and one in the south end at Natamik. Maybe there were more, but I do not remember them. These were old telephones that looked like wooden boxes hanging on the wall. A cord connected to an earpiece shaped like a curved cone, and another cone stuck out from the front of the box. To use them, you had to turn a handle in a circular motion to make the connection. There were no roads, but we had waterways, and the water was our highway. I was lucky enough to see some boats with 1 or 2 horsepower motors, which looked gigantic to me as a child. But mostly we traveled by canoe and paddled wherever we needed to go. My grandfather had a canoe, and I felt fortunate to use it with him. We had no electricity, so there were no televisions and no phones inside our homes. Some families had battery-powered radios. To catch CBC radio, people would hook snare wire to the antenna and throw it high into a tree or another elevated place to improve reception. Our homes were heated by wood stoves. We lived with lanterns and outhouses. Many families built their own log houses with their own hands. Survival required skill, labor, and cooperation. When I started school, we traveled either by boat or on foot. Some families owned skidoos or bombardiers, and I remember feeling excited when bombardiers began transporting children to school. To me, it was something impressive and modern. During summer, large fishing boats called yawls and barges carried students to school. If you missed the boat or barge, you had to run through the bush to reach the next pickup dock. When I was born, the residential school was still standing, but by the time I reached school age, it had burned down. We attended day school instead. At first, school was exciting. I did not cry when my mother dropped me off. I saw tricycles and toys and was eager to stay, while many of the other children cried around me. For a while, school felt like a happy place, but that happiness did not last. I began to experience bullying and abuse from both staff and other students. I became withdrawn and quiet, though I stayed focused on learning. I listened carefully because I did not want trouble. In those days, children were strapped or hit for misbehavior or for doing things adults did not approve of. You learned quickly to be careful. At home, speaking about physical punishment often brought more punishment. Telling your parents you had been disciplined at school could be seen as admitting guilt or misbehavior serious enough to deserve it. Many of our parents carried the teachings and trauma they had learned in residential school. They believed deeply in the saying, "Spare the rod and spoil the child," because that was how discipline had been taught to them.